Hey guys, what's good? Coming at you with another video today. Let me start off my video as I usually do with an apology for not making more content more frequently. Sorry about that. Gonna keep trying to get content out. You know, life is crazy right now for me. I'm sure it is for y'all too. Anyway, like I said, that's the apology. Let's get to the video about a really cool watch. Not this watch, this watch. It's an Omega, it's a moon watch, but it's not a Speedmaster. Well, is it a Speedmaster? Yeah, I guess technically it's got the Speedmaster case back. This is the Omega X-33, a watch released by Omega in the late 1990s. And this is the first generation of the watch. So this watch is like 25 years old now. It is interesting and unique for a lot of reasons. First, you can see that it's a quartz watch. It's a titanium watch. Diameter on this is about 43 millimeters, and it's got a combination of analog and digital displays. It's got 4 buttons that set various features of the watch, and a crown that mostly is used to also set the features. This is the first generation version of the watch. I think we're up to maybe 3 generations plus a couple of limited edition ones. And they're all a little bit differently. The first generation has this stainless steel polished crown. The crown on the second generation is brushed and has some different markings, but this one is the first generation. You can see the case back is interesting. It's got the Speedmaster logo there, but look, it's got these interesting little cutouts on the case back. That's because this watch has an alarm. This watch is interesting. It's got a lot of cool features, including like a perpetual calendar, including multiple alarm functions. It's got a backlight that's really bright. Of course, it's a GMT watch, and this constellation of features and this styling was suggested to Omega by like actual astronauts. And the Speedmaster, the original one was certainly the first watch, on the moon. But if you're looking for a watch that is actually still in use, even in this first generation, case, still being taken up to space, then this is your watch. It's a really cool watch. Like I said, 42 millimeter, 43 millimeter, something like that. Diameter, real short lugs, so it's really easy to wear. 20 millimeter lug width, titanium with some stainless steel parts on it, and a lot of functionality. Anyway, let's try it on the wrist, okay? Okay, and we are back, and let's put this thing on. Let me get this watch off. Really fun watch. It's the Hublot Big Bang 41 millimeters. May make a video about this watch at some point, but let's try this. So I'm gonna wear this on just a simple NATO strap, just a little 20 millimeter, cheap strap. When these first came out, they originally came out with a titanium bracelet, or there's also a version with like a Kevlar strap. So that's cool. So let's get this NATO on, see that, and then let's see how it fits and how it wears. For 43 millimeters, I'm gonna call it 42.5 millimeters. Kind of wears really good. Look at that. It looks right. It doesn't sit off the wrist too much, even with a NATO strap. Just looks kind of like really good on my wrist. Very lightweight because it's titanium. And yeah, I mean, I really enjoy the watch. I think it's cool. I was able to get this at a steal of a price. I mean, you know, like vintage Speedmasters, the price on these watches has just gotten just really, really expensive. I'm talking about tens of thousands of dollars. Even the current Speedmaster or the previous generation is getting expensive. You know, you're looking at $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for that watch. I got this watch. You know, it didn't have the box and papers. It came on this NATO strap, but I got it for under $1,000. I mean, that's like, that's a crazy price for a watch that's like actually still being used in space. Like nobody uses like a manually wound Speedmaster, you know, for anything actually important anymore. You know, because as I've said, you know, before in other videos, when it has got to work, you need to have, you know, this kind of quartz technology with a lot of redundancy. And so, you know, this is actually a watch that's being used in space, and it's just really undervalued. I think that as time goes on, people will appreciate the value of the X-33 more and more. I think it has a lot of charm to it. I think the analog digital display, you know, can turn some people off, but it's certainly historically important and a relevant watch. I am concerned about service costs on this watch though, because a lot of times when they service this watch, you know, they have to actually replace the module. As you can imagine, that can get expensive. Battery life on this thing, they say with typical use of the alarm, which is really loud, and the backlight is about 2 years. You know, if you don't use those functions too much, if you use some power saving functions, it can be up to 3 years. Although anecdotally, I know people whose X-33 has had much longer battery life than that. I'm sure the current versions of the watch have much better like battery power. A solar powered movement would be really helpful, because, you know, the reality is if Omega wants to keep the X-33 a spacefaring watch, you know, missions are going to be longer, and, you know, you're going to have more and more and more power reserve. Anyway, listen, I don't know much about space. I'm just into watches. Anyway, I hope you like this quick look of kind of like a different watch. I mean, the Omega X-33 first generation model. You know, the second generation also has a different crown. This one's kind of hard to pull out, and pulling out the crown is important in this watch because it helps set some of the functions. So that it kind of has a different crown, but the dimensions are the same. I think the second generation movement is a little bit different than this one too. Neither of those movements are like ultra precise thermocompensated quartz movement. The third generation version of the watch has that particular movement. I really like the watch, and for me, it's a keeper. I think this is a much better purchase for someone that wants a collectible watch with some real space pedigree than one of the countless, like, you know, special edition Omega Speedmasters that they just like pump out. This is a much more meaningful watch, and it's a much more historically valuable watch. Now, of course, if you want to go into like the, you know, the $40, $50, $60, $150,000 range and go to some of those real authentic vintage Speedmasters, then sure, be my guest. But at under $1,000, admittedly, that was a good price. You know, realistic pricing on these is probably about $2,000, $2,500 maybe. You know, the bracelet is hard to source, so, you know, if you can find one with a bracelet, that's good. Box and paper is always good. Mine didn't come with that. Anyway, I'm rambling. I hope you like this quick look at kind of a cool watch. You know, an Omega, a Speedmaster, a moon watch, but not the Speedmaster that you're maybe thinking of. Anyway, look forward to making some more content. Hope you enjoyed this video of something a little bit different, you know, something interesting. I hope you enjoyed seeing this watch on the wrist, and look forward to making some more content for y'all soon. Anyway, take care. God bless. Bye.